A warm welcome to each one of you. This is the Naomi Talk Show with yours truly, Liz Kenyo, and kama kawaida, I'd like to appreciate each one of you that has become part of the big family that we are. Asanteni sana sana, and may the Lord bless you. To anyone coming across our content for the very first time, this is a place you get three things from whatever you get to watch in our channel. You'll be equipped, you'll be inspired, and you'll be educated to do life in the best way that God intended for each one of us. Because He has the manual of how we ought to do life. So today, I'm feeling excited, feeling very relaxed. Unaona hata sina notebook, sina kalamu, sina. Today, tunaongelelea a very interesting topic. The nanny dilemma. Sijui kama tufanye drum rolls. The season is fast approaching. Sijui kama wako wamekupea notice. Nakwambia by the way, madhe, naenda Christmas, naenda tarehe 1 Disemba. Ujui kama anarudi. Meanza kushikwa na kafiva. So mothers, let's gather here and share our experiences. Of course, I have an amazing lady. This lady, she runs, of course, an institution, not just a bureau. She'll explain that further. And of course, even her, she's had her own fair of challenges with nannies. So mutazisikiza, msikie kama zetu zina relate na zenu kidogo. Alafu we get to know how to navigate through that phase. Because really, at the end of the day, hawa ni wakupita, wewe ndio mwenyeji, you don't need to have that fever. Probably you're wondering, what do you mean? Yeah, we've been there, we've done all those things, we've cried, we've done everything, but relax. Everything will be fine. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much, Liz.
And you're looking amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. And so are you.
Sasa tunataka kuongelea nanny issues, but kwanza introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Miriam Mwaringa, or Teacher Miriam. Actually, Teacher Miriam. Yes, I love that title. Yeah, so like you've said, I'm here so that we share about the nanny dilemma. I love the way you are calling it a dilemma, because indeed it is.
It is a dilemma. And many of us, more so in the urban setup. Me, kwanza leo nasikia kama naweza kuwa interviewed on the Chronicles.
The Nanny Chronicles. Masaibu.
Because I have gone through so much, and I'm sure every woman can, even you can relate.
Oh, by all means.
Especially when the children are younger. You bring in a house help, and within 2 days they are gone, or they wait for you. Wakati umepack, umejivalia vizuri, you're ready to leave the house, and they tell you, Mama, hata mimi naenda. Have you had those experiences
by
yourself?
all means, yes.
Which one comes to your mind kabisa yenye ilikuanga, wow?
Wow. I would say my worst was when someone actually left my child. I couldn't believe it. So, at least for the first 2 children, I had relatives. For my 3rd child, that's when all the drama started. So this nanny calls me. No, actually she texted, Mama, rudi nyumbani haraka, mtoto ni mgonjwa. And I'm like, but I've just left the house and the child was fine. So Liz, you can imagine the thoughts that went through my mind. I was like, did the child pull? I thought the child could have pulled that electric kettle and maybe poured water on herself and burned. Or maybe the child tripped on the stairs and fell and broke her leg. I just couldn't. I thought all things. So I got into the car. Actually, I felt like I wasn't getting home. So
the journey was too long.
If you knew where I was living, I would explain properly what happened, because I got to some point, I felt like I needed to use a shortcut. So I got through some farm, some maize. They had planted some maize. Hapa tu Nairobi.
Na gari?
Yes. Kufika hapo nikaona gari yezi pita. So I alighted. I got out of the car, but left the car running. I thank God that I'm still alive. So people were calling, angalieni huyo mama, angalieni huyo mama. So I threw back the key. So I wanted to go and use the back door to my house. From that point, I could hear my child crying. So I kept saying, the girl was called Terry. I forgave her. Terry, I forgave you. I kept asking, Terry, fungua mlango nimefika. And there was no one opening the door. Because I'm assuming she's still there. So I just pushed the door, the small back door, and it opened. I found my little girl there. Oh my God. And she just looked at me. She was just learning how to talk. Mommy, auntie, pinch. So, and she's light. So I could see red marks on her cheek. So I was like, Auntie Pinch, is that the sickness that was being called for? So I still kept calling, Terry, where are you? Mtoto ako na nini? And there was no one to answer. That's now when it dawned on me, oh, Terry left. And the child was left alone. So I'm thinking maybe Terry pinched my child as the child was trying to follow her through the back gate because I found her outside there. So I still, even with that, I still kept looking for Terry. So I looked around all over the house, there was no Terry. So I picked my child, put her on bed, started examining her, checking everything is fine. I could only see that one mark, the red mark on her cheek. So, you know the way you sink, I just sank. I was like, okay, so the car is out there. I mean, like now the day has ended just like that. The child is so terrified, I can't leave her alone again. So clearly, and I know every mother has a story, but that was my worst. I couldn't think someone could leave a child.
For me, I remember I cried. The first nanny I had stayed with us for 4 years because she came before I delivered. And she stayed with us for another 2 years. So the day we couldn't exist in the same house, she had to leave. And the first thing I did was just to cry because I didn't know where to begin. No. My house was always neat. My daughter was always clean. She was well fed. And I'm here wondering, okay,
So
where
falls on me.
where do I exactly begin? And I cried. I felt disoriented. The first thing that rang in my head was to pick my daughter, take her to the village. But then I was like, because that's what naturally most of us think about. We will pick the girl or the child, take them to the village, and somehow we are able
you get a bit of sanity
to do life.
Yeah.
But from your own experience, now that both of us, I think we have outgrown some of those challenges, speaking to the younger mother, would you recommend them taking their child to the village simply because of this nanny dilemma that they are going through?
Oh no, not. I wouldn't, honestly. And even as we are talking, I keep thinking about the word nanny, the term nanny. I'm even wondering if we employ nannies, because I think we don't employ nannies. And I think that's where the rain starts beating us, from the word go, please. Maybe
we employ then.
we don't employ nannies, we employ people. We just employ people. I don't know, I want to be nice, so I just think we just pick people. And actually, I think we employ people who feel like they actually don't even come in because that is what they want to do, Liz.
Yes.
Honestly. They don't come in because that's what they want to do. Even the ones we are sent for by our mothers from the village, you will be told, kuna huyu msichana wa nani ameacha shule, ama ameshindwa shule, chukua. Sasa, is that a nanny really? Who is a nanny?
By the way, okay, let's begin from there. So who is a nanny? Probably the ones you're calling nannies are not even nannies in the first place.
Because a nanny is like a caregiver.
Yes.
And in the context of childcare, a nanny is someone coming in to care, to help care for a child. You know? And the people we employ, Liz, me and you know that they don't come in to do that. You know me, I worked as a nanny, Liz.
Oh.
Now me, I didn't work as a nanny. Now I was that person. That person who is not a nanny. When I was being employed, before I joined campus, I was told that I'm going to be taking care of a child for this couple that they were both teachers. So I came in to take care of their youngest child. And it was in the village. And they had a shop. Of course, that means since it's in the village, they also had a farm. So Liz, since they had a shop, sometimes I would be working, I would have to wake up early, very early, sometimes as early as 3 a.m. to receive milk to sell in the shop. Okay? I would also be managing the shop when they go to school, right? Then I'll be checking on the child. Then I'll realize there is no water. So I'll now close and go with the child to go and fetch water.
Wow.
Okay?
You're a superwoman.
I know, right? So maybe that explains a bit of empathy that I have for these nannies. Because then on Saturdays, because now Saturdays we are all home. So if it is going to the farm, I would actually now go to the farm with them. So clearly, what was I? Would you call me a nanny? I'm not a nanny because I don't even know my job description. And it's the same things we do. So you bring in the nanny, or the person you are calling a nanny. They come in. You show them around your house.
No, sometimes we don't.
Yeah.
You just bring the person, how are you, what is your name?
Yes. Hapa ni kwangu.
Kitchen ndio ile
pale. They were
pale.
doubting.
Hapa ni kwangu.
Hapa ni kwangu. You start there. Who is refusing? You know, so you have already made a statement. Already there is discomfort. Hapa ni kwangu. So just in case the nanny...
No, we're usually marking our territories.
Are you threatened? Are you threatened? So the relationship is already beginning to get so...
Oh dear.
Yeah, already, hapa ni kwangu. So message sent. Ujue ukibehave vile utabehave, hapa ni kwangu. Then now, uko ni kitchen. Hiyo ni room yako. Watoto wangu. Watoto maybe wako shule by the time she's coming. So utamwambia uko na watoto wako watatu. Wakitoka shule utawaintroduce one by one. Na actually anafaa kuanza job saa hiyo.
Exactly.
Yes, anza jobs. Please, seriously. Hii job hata ajui hii job. Nani ufanya job hajai train.
So what are we supposed to do?
You know. And I think that's where, and nobody is to be blamed because that is how our structures are, even as a country. But I think what I hear in other, and I've read a bit about what happens in childcare, about childcare in developed countries. There's no one who comes to your house to take care of your child, to clean your house, to cook for you, to wash your clothes. I don't think they do such kind of things.
To wash your car?
To wash your car. Like this nanny is already tired by the time actually siku inaanza.
Lakini mbona unawatetea hivyo?
Si kwa sababu mimi nilikuwa mmoja wao.
Oh.
Na ninajua vile tunafanya kazi mob. And then you are expected to do a job that hauna description, hauna training for.
Yeah.
Unaona? For me, that is actually where I think it gets very hard.
Probably it explains why we have the misfortunate events and occurrences when someone brings in a nanny from the village. They are clueless.
So you have heard the way they use that water in the washroom. Ile unasikia mama anakupigia mama ile maji.
Kuna mwingine hata nisikia anaosha wipes, baby wipes. Akishamaliza kupanguza pupu nazo, anaziosha gently because anaona zingine zinararuka.
Zinatoka.
Alafu anaanika ready to recycle. Now by the time you're recycling, this thing is dry.
Of course, so it won't serve its purpose.
But hukumwambia.
But you see, the girl doesn't, it's a job umepewa, no training, no... what is it, no even induction, no nothing. It's really hard. You've heard of this story of this girl who called the boss to tell them ile maji nilikuwa natumia imeisha, kale kakisima maji imeisha. So the lady's like, what do you mean? Kumbe the girl saw the washroom basin and she has been fetching water. So amefetch imeisha. And the girl didn't know. And isn't it a possibility, Liz? I mean, some of us are coming to see these things. I mean, in the village, most villages, people will be using pit latrines, right?
Yes.
Yes.
By the way, ametoka ushago. So these are well. Ameona well.
Anachota maji anapiga simu sema kale kakisima kamekauka. Amuuliza, what do you mean kakisima kagani? Describe. You mean you have been using that toilet. Hiyo ndio maji ulikuwa unachota unatumia kwa nyumba kuosha. Na sijamaliza kuosha vyombo, nilikuwa naendelea sijarinse. Lakini nilikuwa nimepikia mtoto.
Where?
But kisima imekauka.
Oh, umekuta na drama. It is just part of what being.
But she doesn't know. Will you blame her?
Okay. Now we will get to the importance of why you need to go to a place where you can have them trained. Because then I think we are not also available to train them.
We are not available to train them. Or we also don't even know how to train them, because this life is interesting. You know, like you don't even know what to train, because even you started running your own home. You have been learning on the job. You learned how to become a mother on the job, learned how to become a wife on the job. You had to be a mother for you to learn how to be a mother, right?
Sasa hapa sasa juu tumekuwa wahenga sisi, sasa wawili ni wahenga hapa, tuko na experience, tumepitia. How would you recommend a young mother bringing a house girl for the first time to orientate their nanny? Okay, their domestic help.
Yes, because bado hatujaanza kuandika nannies. Si tunaandikanga DMs, wanaitwa domestic managers. Because this girl is to organize your food in your home, clean your clothes, keep the home clean.
Go do shopping, by the way.
Yeah, they do so much. They do so much. So they don't qualify to be called nannies, because a nanny is to care for children. Yeah, they don't qualify to be nannies.
So now take us through what this mother, who has probably a 3 months baby, bringing in a domestic manager for the first time. How can they go through the process to make this lady comfortable and pick up the job?
Wow. Oh, that's a very interesting question, Liz. You've taken me back then, you know, and the way at that point we wanted to be given the ones coming from the village, because tunasema how they are not corrupted, you know. So your mother sends you and tells you that one utakaa na yeye kabisa, and you are ready kukaa na yeye kabisa, but it doesn't happen. So I think first of all, it's usually just such a challenge that as young mothers you have to leave your child at that age. It's not easy, but we have to work, and so we can't blame anyone. So now your maternity leave is over and you need to go back to work. So first of all, the search shouldn't start immediately when you are going back to work to begin with.
Umesikia?
Yeah, it doesn't start at that point, because at that point you are not even okay, because first of all, even you are going to suffer a bit of detachment from your child. So you are already anxious.
Yeah.
So you're not in the right space to
Separation
make
anxiety.
Yes, you're not in the right space to make a very wise decision. So you will be on panic mode. So you don't start looking at that particular point. The ideal situation should be you look for a nanny even before you put to bed. Yes, so the first thing is for you, first of all, to be, before you get that baby, you already know what the value systems of your home.
Yes.
What is it that is very important to you? What is the culture in your home? How do people behave in your home? You know, how do you, because if you are a young mother, maybe a first-time mother, you are establishing your home. You know, hapo kwako sasa, si ndio? Sasa ndio unaanza kutengeneza kwako. So now you are building a culture that every other person coming to your home is expected to follow. Even the children that are going to grow into your home. So you start earlier. You start getting the nanny earlier, or whoever is going to help you with raising your child. So when they come early, that time you're going to take them through what is important in your home. Values, practices. So that when the baby comes, you're not always giving instructions on the go. You know? So this person is like getting oriented, pole pole. So when the baby comes, the clothes need to be washed, ironed. This is where we are going to be storing baby clothes. You know, it's like in anticipation they are getting ready, even if not many months before, but just prior to. Because you can imagine this mother coming from the hospital to come and just, you know, be on their own. So once you get the nanny a bit early before the baby comes, when the baby comes in now, you are just like reminding her, and she's observing what you're doing. Because of course the early months will want to be with your baby, but occasionally you will need to hand over the baby to so they start bonding, because that bonding is very important. Children are wiser than we know. You know, Liz, by the time a child is 2 years, 75% of their brain is already formed. Yeah, so they know how to connect. They may not verbalize it. Yeah, so you also need to see how the nanny is responding to your child, how the child is responding to the nanny. Is the nanny engaging the child? Is the nanny happy to be with the child? Is the child happy to be with the nanny? And such kind of things. So now you are orientating them, and helping them understand how this, because you're the one again to put structure for your child, because children thrive through structure. I mean, a child has to be put through a structure of when they wake up, when they take their bath, when they take their breakfast, when they take their snack, when they take their fruit, you know, all that. So now the nanny needs to see you going through it. If you are, is it called not sanitizing? What is this? Disinfecting, sterilizing. Yeah, they are feeding things. The nanny needs to see you do it. You know.
I want to assure you, Kai, musirushe mawe. Hata wakiona,
bado watafanya.
Some of them,
yes,
they'll choose to do the extreme opposite. Take shortcuts.
Yes.
And then you are left wondering, what's the big issue? And that's why I think there's a conflict between the boss lady and the nanny. Because this girl chooses, where end a job?
Nitafanya vile nitataka.
Takata shortcut.
But you know, there also has to be a relationship between you and the nanny. Because unajua nanny pia ni job. Si ni kweli? Kuna watu wanachukua shortcut kwa jobs zao. Sasa ile yenye job wewe unaenda ndio wache nani. Si pia watu ofisini utapata wanachukua shortcuts. Si ni kweli? Are there people working for their bosses and they don't like their bosses?
Yes.
Si wako?
Yes.
So it's possible this nanny can work for you and they don't like you. Right?
Yes.
Are there people who get offended when their bosses are giving them instructions? Anazinyika. Anaona sijui kitu nafanya. Si ni kweli? So unajua unaweza kuunaambia nani na anakuangalia, you think I don't know what I'm doing. So human beings tuna thrive on relationships. Lazima tujel Liz. Ndio tukijel sitataka kukukwaza. Si ni kweli? Lakini kama kuna hizo tensions, ushaniazia hapa ni kwangu. Na hapa ufai ku.
And that is my husband.
Surely, what do you mean? Yes, yani you are introducing all. Surely, yani your husband anaweza kuwa tu kwa nyumba na ajulikani yeye ni husband.
Acha nikuitasema. Mimi is a girl, nilipewa namba ya simu nikampigia. She was interviewing me now.
Uko na husband?
Uko na mzee? Anafanyanga kazi. I answered. But that time I already dismissed her, but I said, let me flow. Uko na watoto wangapi?
3.
Nyumba yako iko na juu na chini? Magari uko na ngapi? By the time I was done, I was like, whoa!
I'm done.
This one.
But Liz, huku muuliza mbona anauliza mambo ya husband?
Already mimi nilikuwa dismiss.
Unajua sasa uliconclude.
Niliconclude.
Mtu anaweza uliza husband, kuna husband wengine anafanya kazi nyumbani. So nani anapenda space yake? Kuna history ya working from home inasumbua nani? Because husband ako kwa nyumba the whole day. Nani haezi pinduka hivi? So anauliza kwa sababu ajue hii nyumba ndashinda peke yangu ama kutakuwa na mtu. Alafu pia kuna nannies wanapelekwa nyumba, maybe hakuna husband, lakini kuna watu wengi wanakuja wakiingia na occasionally hao watu wanaanza kusumbua huyo nani. They have good reasons to ask, by the way.
So we should not get offended.
You don't get offended. They have good reasons to ask. Because ukiona mtu anakuuliza maybe amekuwa na experience. Me have had some, anakuambia unaenda kwa nyumba uliambiwa ni mama na mtoto, mama na watoto. Lakini within the week wale watu watafika hapo kwa hiyo nyumba. Alafu wengine sasa kuna wale watakuja amekuja kuona mwenzake. The day atakosa mwenzake anaenda kwa. People don't know how to keep boundaries. So the nannies lives matter, don't they? They also matter. Unaona?
I get it.
Or maybe someone has had an experience. Kuna husband anamnyemelea. Kwani si Liz wa husbands wananyemelea nannies? We have had cases of mtu anaosha vyombo, husband anakuja anamgrab huko nyumba. Sasa huyo nani maybe ameshasema me I'll never work in a home kuna husband. So akikuuliza mambo ya husband, ako na sababu yake, hataki husband wako. Pengine ako na sababu yake.
Okay.
But I think as women we will just automatically think, what does she have to do with my husband? But she has a reason. Maybe she decided maybe the way that husband treated me. Now we have had cases of nannies. Mtu anakuambia mimi ni mzee alianza kuninyemelea nikiambia mama akanitandika, akaniambia mimi ndio najipeleka huko. So to be safe ana decide mimi nikishasikia tu kuna mzee mimi I keep off.
So what we are simply saying, ukiulizwa maswali wewe jibu tu kwa utaratibu. Then at the end of the day you assess whether you will still want to pursue with this girl, don't take offense. Tuko pamoja wamama wenzangu, tuko pamoja. Sasa, but the question is, why do we always feel like these nannies hold us at ransom? And we become very helpless when they're not there. Why?
Kwanza unajua hii job ni funny. It's the only job where you live with your boss. Unajua hiyo, imagine now, ukienda you work where you work, ati unaamkiananga na boss wako hapo. Do you know how uncomfortable that is? So hii job ni ngumu to begin with, in the sense that, and in most of our homes, I think for some few cases, especially in our context as a country, very few homes will have a nanny's quarters or a worker's quarters. Very few. The rest of us, bedroom ya nani ndio hiyo, hata pengine wanashare na watoto wetu, ama pengine anawekewa mattress kwa sitting room, ama wanaambiwa lale kwa kiti. So already it's a very intrusive kind of a job. You feel intruded. Also, the nanny feels their personal space is compromised. Okay? And then these constant reminders, uko kwangu. It's just uncomfortable, really. So forever, constantly, kunakuwa na friction. See, even wazungu wanasema distance makes the heart fonder. At least angekuwa anakuja anafanya anaenda, by the time anafika kesho, unamtreat kama ameenda job. But you see, mnaenda, hata wengine ameshaenda kulala bado unamuita.
By the way. Na unajua unamuita afanye nini? Achemsha maji ya kunywa ama ya kuoga. Something you can do.
Achemshie mzee nyama.
Something that you as a woman of the home, you can manage to do.
Yes. And where inakaa ni kama, I realized clearly there has to be a bigger person in this relationship. And it's not going to be the nanny. It has to be you. Because wewe ndio umesema hapo ni kwako. You are in your domain, you are in your space. So you have to being the bigger person does not mean you load it over her. And to answer this question, ya issue ya conflict, ni kwa sababu ya relationships. That relationship, and people think if you are becoming overly nice, unaenda shopping, unamletea mafuta, now that is buying. You don't buy a relationship. Just keep your lane. Okay? Treat respectfully. Okay? Even when you are giving these instructions, also be respectful. Unamwambia, this is how we like things done here. Simple things like, asubuhi ukipatia mtoto chakula, or anytime the children are having a meal, I've trained them to pray for their food, to give thanks as they eat. Waombeshe. Okay? Ni watoto wanaweza sahau, waambie tuombe chakula. Okay? Yani, don't leave anything untouched. Don't assume anything. Okay? Haya. Hii chakula tukipikia mtoto, tunaeka mboga. We don't pika ugali na supu ya tomato tunachanganyisha. Remember huyu msichana ametoka kwao, kuna orientation yao.
Exactly.
Watoto huko wanakorogewa pengine, we grew up seeing chakula ya watoto bora iko na soup. That soup could be maji, could be soup ya mbosho umechemsha, but bora tu iko soft. The idea ni ikuwe soft. The idea is not nutrition. So it is you now to start telling the child, the nanny, the importance of, why do I need you to mash the beans, mix them with the viazi, and add a spinach? Because we need the child to eat a complete meal. Don't assume anafaa kuwa anajua.
Sawa. Ingia job, na hata yakiingia usimwachilie, hata kama she has the wealth of experience, your house is different from the other house. Please put in the work and train them. The next question is, what is the relation? Is there a relationship between how much you pay them and how they behave in your house?
It's a very complicated equation, this one. I would say ndio inaitangwa complicated. Sometimes, I don't know. Maybe we should also just ask ourselves, is there a relationship between how much we earn or how much we are paid where we work and how we perform? Do you feel like always more money means better performance from you? Is that always the case?
Well, it motivates.
It is a motivation, but it is not always the case. There are places you can be paid so much, but you're just not happy. You're losing yourself, clearly.
Yeah, by the way.
It's possible, right? So, when we pay them and then we start making a demand of excellent performance.
And we remind them, unajua nakulipa pesa mingi sana by the way.
Hii kazi anaweza jifanyia. And you are constantly saying hii kazi akiwa mama.
Na ile pesa nakulipa.
Kila wakati hii kazi inaweza jifanyia. Wewe unasema kazi unaweza jifanyia na msichana bado wako hapo.
If you're guilty, inua mkono hapo kwa nini.
You know, so yani I think the problem is from now the little experience that I have, even mistakes that personally I've made, is that we soil this relationship and make it so look like a very conflicting relationship until now performance inakuwa ngumu. Hata ukinipea nini like roho ishaenda. Niko tu hapa kwa sababu what else can I do? So yes, and that's why even the salary should be incremental. So you are not giving me mara moja hivi ndio nishtuke nikuwe obliged to work, because again I can only perform to the level of my skill and knowledge. Even if you give me $1 million and you're giving me a task I'm not equipped for, I will just not perform.
Exactly.
I will just not perform. Yeah. But if you give me a remuneration equivalent to my what the job you feel you have given me, right? Alafu as you observe me, sikuna kuanga na appraisals at a job. Ukini appraise I'm doing well, unaniongezea tu, inani motivate. Sini kweli. And then we need to be having meetings, not meetings za quarrels kila wakati. Nikakwambia upanguze ukuta, hujapanguza ukuta. Nikakwambia hii sijui inafaa kufanywa nini. Yani is that how you are instructed at work surely? Job boss wako anaingia tu anaanza, nani iko wapi ile report? Nikakwambia wewe naona kazi utaki, naona kazi imekutosha. You know that's how we talk to them. Naona mtu hataki kazi hapa. Umefura kichwa. Chakula yangu unakula hapa. You know, when you talk with that kind of animosity, jameni, you are never going to have, it is never going to work. So the same way Liz, unaitangwa kwa meeting job, unaambiwa this is where we are and this is where we are going. It's the same way you need to call your nanny. So far you have been in my house for 2 weeks. You have been taking care of my children. Is there anything you have observed that you think I need to address? Ukimpatia hiyo chance anakuambia, na wewe sasa unamwambia na mimi I have observed. Saa zingine nakuita ukiwa kwa room. Naitana tu Terry, unanyamaza. I have to bring myself to the door. I think that is not respectful. As opposed to na kuitanga umenyamazia kwa hiyo room, unalipa rent hiyo room. Ushaeka animosity.
By the way.
So relationship, unakaa na mtu kwa nyumba but relationship ni tense. Ataperform aje na utamwachia mtoto hapo.
Lakini hapo kwa kuongeza mshahara, tuseme amekaa 5 years, alikuja mtoto akiwa mdogo, mtoto ameenda shule. Mshahara iongezeke ama ipungue juu kazi imepungua?
Hii kitu inakuanga
tricky. This is the way we think. Thank you. That's the way we reason.
So tricky. But it's so tricky. Kwa sasa basi wewe kama umeona mtoto ameenda shule na kazi imepungua, simrelease. Maybe sasa ulete wa day bag. Akujange tu ku-clean kwa sababu you don't need a child. You don't need a child. You don't need a child caregiver.
Have you come across those women who actually reduce? Nitapunguza 1,000 juu sasa ameenda shule.
I know.
Hakuna kitu unafanya.
Imagine anaargue hivyo kabisa, ni kushinda tu hapa kwa nyumba. But I think haki Mungu atusaidie sisi wa mama. Because sasa ukianza ku reduce hii amount, hata we job ukafanywa hivyo, unaweza furahi kweli. Imagine tumereduce wa job kwa sababu interns wamekuja. So umeambiwa si you are running this on your own. Tumepata some interns from the college. They'll be here with us for 3 months. So these 3 months will be relieved. So we are going to cut down your salary. Utaangalia wewe employer aje? Utaanza kutafu applications yenye utakuwa umetuma the whole day kabla hiyo siku iishe. Mingi sana.
That explains why we have the high turnovers.
Yes.
And you're knowledgeable in terms of even being, you know, in the school setup, and you also have a place where you train the house helps. What is the effect of having a very high turnover of nannies in our houses on the child?
Yeah, Liz, actually the training at the center, the Precious Gifts, we call it Precious Nannies training, came about because of course, my own personal experiences with nannies, because I think most women, if not all of us, have seen it all.
We have a story.
Yes. And now, being at the heart of childcare in the school center, because you see, our school started as a daycare. So you could see the frustrations in the ladies as they drop their children for daycare. Then in the evening, they're so exhausted, they can hardly pick themselves up, and yet they have to also get home, clean, cook, and take care of the child. Then you see these nannies, these children who have seen any, they are always saying, Auntie ameenda. Like, the turnover is just so high. Because at early years, hapo ndio watoto wanalearn kutrust na kumistrust. So ikiwa leo amelala akiona Auntie Jen, kesho anamkia Auntie Ann.
Ama anafika mahali anasahau majina.
Yes, in fact ule auntie alikuwa na nywele mrefu, ule auntie alikuwa ananyoa. Anaanza kuwa describe na vile walikuwa anakaa. So in essence, it may look like just a turnover. And you know, sisi wa mama tunasemanga, I'll fire until when I get the right one. I'll fire
and higher.
I'll fire and higher, fire and higher. Hata tunapeananga hizo advices pale kwa social media. Unakuja na report mrefu about how your nanny is misbehaving. Na unaona tu kwa comment section, higher and fire, higher
Until
and
you
fire.
get the
Until,
right one.
yes. So we just, it's okay to fire and hire, but we need to pause and realize that it actually poses a challenge to the development of our children. At that age, they'll start thinking there's nothing serious, nothing permanent, nothing, I don't trust anyone. Like, yeah, so I don't need to hold anything. No relationship is serious.
Yeah.
So later in life, this child will be thinking, I can get in and get out.
Now that explains. This is the season and the generation we're having na trust issues.
Yes.
Sijui kama umeona kitu na trend sana. Wako na trust issues. They can't hold on to a relationship for long.
No.
So they pick drop.
If it's not working, it's not working.
Pick drop. They don't want to put any effort.
The people don't try very
pick
hard.
Drop. Kumbe shida ilianza pale.
But the child knew that it's never that serious. If it's not working, they can even see you. And some of our children are even big. They can even see the traffic. And you see now the problem again is, Liz, you see if it was someone just coming maybe to clean your house and tend to your compound, that's okay. But this is someone who anakuja, in addition to tending to your home, they are also getting close to your children. Some even to an extent of sharing sleeping space with your children. So human beings are social beings. So there's a bit of your child there's a bit of that nanny that is left with your child. Unaona, like ameenda but kuna ka impact, right? So kesho anav tena hata the emotional muscle to start getting used to another one. It's already straining in
before
itself.
It starts. Another one comes.
Yes, even leave alone even not building trust. Even the emotional muscle to start getting to someone else. And remember, we umefire na umehaya na umeenda job. The whole day huyo msichana akona mtoto. So it is the mtoto who bears the brunt of starting to get used, starting to hear that other sauti. Huyu mwingine pengine alikuwa na sauti kanyororo kama kako, mwingine amekuja na sauti nzito kama yangu. So the child saa zingine anasikia akiongea ana panic. Mtoto wako anaanza kushikwa na panic attacks. So emotionally it affects the children. And a lot of times children they will not verbalize. But even you imagine having to get used to a new colleague every day. Is it easy for you? It can be easy. Okay, even you having to get used to a new working space every month. Yani unakuanga tu lost kila month ikianza. Unafika tu job, unarealize mimi ni mgeni. Hata sijui wanaendanga lunch wapi. That is what you are subjecting your child to. So if you are to hire and fire, can you at least be a constant in your child's life? As you are hiring and firing, wacha wakuwe wanakuja kuclean nyumba.
Be the louder one.
Yes, wewe, mtoto anajua mom will always be there. So be taking the bigger part of childcare. But imagine you fired yesterday, tomorrow you brought a new one, wewe umeenda job. From unatoka the average Nairobi parent leaves the house around 6:30, gets back around 7, right? Children go to bed around 8, 9, or some even earlier because of school. So the whole day, huyo mtoto ameshinda na stranger. Are you even being fair, even emotionally? Hata hakuna break ya, wacha nikae kidogo, wazoeane. Hakunanga hiyo observation space.
Ni pop.
It is a lot of work for a child emotionally to start. It's a lot. Hata mtoto anakuwa na, zinaitwa nini hizi stress hormones. Cortisol zina raise. The hormones are, because I mean it's a stressful thing. And then remember, every nanny leaves an element of themselves in your child. So it's like your child is having imprints za so many people, imprints. Huyu alikuwa anafanya hivi, huyu alikuwa anaongea hivi, huyu alikuwa anatumia bad words, huyu alikuwa na... So the child is, there is so much fighting for space and attention in the life of your child. So unless you be, like you said, the louder voice, the child is going to feel tortured. They may not manifest immediately. Some manifest immediately.
Yeah.
Even in school, you can see the aggression, you can see the bitterness, they're just not happy, you know. You can see they just can't trust anyone, they don't want to play with anyone, they're just disoriented. The disorientation, you can see it even in school, you can see it. But then, others will manifest later in life. In adulthood, you're thinking, so what is so serious? Hii job naweza iacha sahi na hakuna kitu mtanifanyia.
Anaenda anasema, sisikii kama inani.
Then the bigger ones are also seeing you fire and higher. You're also telling them, even out there when you go trying things and they don't work, you don't try so hard, come back.
Oh, by
it's
the
a communication without saying anything. There is so much happening.
Lord help us, and somehow we have to navigate these phases.
Me too. Please, my children, one of my children, the bigger one, when she was very young, when I would be giving instructions and come back and found the way you were saying that someone feels, even if you say this, the opposite will still be done. Me would be asking, why? But I told you. Then my little girl, I think she used to fear that whole having to get used to someone else. She would tell me, Mom, everyone in this life deserves, in fact up to date she still says that, deserves another chance, because she would be saying huyu atafutwa. So nililania hapo, hata hiyo story ya kunini, when the children are hearing, it's also stressful to the children.
By the way.
You are thinking, I'm the owner of the money, I can fire and hire, but the child is thinking, not again, nianze kuzoea mtu mwingine. So I could see my girls trying to talk for the girl, and I'm, Mom, everyone deserves another chance. Mom, usikuwa unamuinstruct na English. Use Kiswahili, mom. Alafu ukimu-instruct, muulize, do you understand? Because maybe she didn't understand what you were saying. So that's why I was saying this job ya DMs na nannies, it's complicated because ni job yenye unakaa na boss wako na familia yake. So watoto watakusikia ukiinstructiwa, bwana atasikia, aanze pengine kukuhurumia.
But what I'm hearing you say is, sometimes when you have to give those tough warnings and instructions, it's good to withdraw the children.
Pull the girl away.
Pull your children away.
Yes. It tortures them.
It actually
in our torture. Alafu pia they are learning. You know, children learn more from what they see than what they hear. It's monkey see, monkey do. So baadaye huyu mtoto si bado atakuwa leader somewhere. Huyu mtoto pia yes atakuwa in a position where she can lord it over people. That is why they come to school. Na I had a child in school who would even like hata anaweza make mistake, alafu anakuambia, it's not me who will be quarreled, it's you. Anaambia mwalimu hivyo. Ashajua the mother quarrels. So, na anajua the mother quarrels people who are below. So, kwa huyu mtoto, mother is everything. Ako juu ya kila mtu, so anaweza quarrel everyone. Because amesikia hiyo mambo inafanyika hapo nyumbani, anaona mama yake ni kama ni tyrant. She will land here at this school and she will put all of you in your space. So wewe sign diary yangu na ukisema nilikuwa na bad day, wewe tu ndio utakuwa quarreled. So you are also removing responsibility from your children. Imagine wanasikia ukiuliza msichana, na hizi vyombo hazijatolewa hapa, nitakuwa na shida kuongea. What are you telling the children? Hiyo kutoa vyombo ni kazi ya mtu mwingine. And you know they hear, remember the nanny is never going to be the age of your children again.
By the way.
So even the value of respect. Hakuna. So ni sisi tu wa mama, Mungu atusaidie, we rethink. Tujiite tu mkutano, realize even as you are having this nanny in your home, bado unalea. Bado unalea. Huyu ataenda. Si umetuambia tu sasa huyu anapita. Wewe tu ndio the main person. Wewe ndio the main character in this movie. Wakishaenda, wewe mwenyewe, what you have been left with, will you handle it? Si kuna watu wanahip vyombo kwa sink, nani akipotea, akienda tu off. Mpaka mbu
January watu wanakuwa kwa madirisha hivi.
Amefika huko test, unaweza tuma fare hata mara 2. Mimi kuna mwingine nilitumia fare after kutuma fare akakaka kidogo akaniambia mtoto wake mjukuu wake the daughter had a child amechomeka. I think hata alitafuta tu picha akanitumia kuchomeka, so anataka 3k akuje. Sasa nimeshatuma fare. Remember alitoka na fare na shopping na kila kitu akienda Christmas. But sasa anataka fare tena nyingine akuje. That time utatuma tu hiyo fare tena. Utatuma. Unatuma fare na bado after kutuma fare nikaambiwa tena mtoto amechomeka mkono.
Kama anakuwa mteja.
Nikatuma 3k. Akakuja enyewe they live with scars.
There's a lady who was telling me, neighbor yake msichana ikifika around November anaanza kumuuliza, by the way, salon unaendanga wapi?
Unaanza kumtreat vizuri.
You go to the salon and tell me how much they charge you, I'll pay.
Yes.
But January uko. Ndio uko na kala ka pressure ka uko kwa dirisha
unaangalia.
April uko zile za you know I can fire you. Towards December unaanza
umetulia, you are becoming very nice.
How are your children, by the way?
I know. And your mom.
Na mama yako? So be nice throughout.
I think you should be nice throughout. I think until we start making them also take it as a job. You know, job yako, your boss doesn't have to be very nice to you at certain times of the year. It's nothing personal, it's work. Only that now this one is someone taking care of your most precious possession. So you find it getting personal, almost spilling over to like, sasa mnaanza kukua family. You know, it's not easy. That's why I said it is very complicated, both for the family and especially the lady who has to deal with the nanny on day-to-day basis. And remember also as a mother, Liz, as a woman of the home hapo kwako, your space is unajua sisi umeniambia tu we are marking territory, right? So imagine it's so easy someone coming to your space na mtakuwa mnakaa hapo pamoja, a fellow woman. By the let's just say it, si rahisi. Mimi sijui how it would be for men if now a houseboy had to come na mnakaa pamoja. Maybe the men should tell us. Because I don't know, like sasa it's a houseboy, shamba boy, ama gardener, na mnaishingi tu pamoja na mama anafanyanga anaenda wewe unafanya kazi so mama anabakingi tu hapo na I don't know how it would look. I don't know. Na si kukaa ati anakuja na report anafanya gardening anaenda ako hapo kwa nyumba throughout. So there is that aspect of also space. There's that it's complicated in the sense that this is someone you are literally putting into your personal space. Not a relative, si mtu mnajuana, ni mtu tu. So it's just a bit uncomfortable, even for the nanny themselves. Kukaa kwa wenyewe si rahisi pia. You know, they also find it hard. So ni hiyo compromise, getting it ndio huwa inakuwa challenge kwetu wa mama. Getting to that point unaona, I need her, she needs me. And again, I also need her to take it as a job. I also need to take her as an employee. She's not my child, she's not my sister, but she's helping me do things I can't do, so she's very important. Ni ngumu.
So a delicate balance.
It's a very delicate balance.
Maintain the boss lady position, but still be user-friendly for the girl to approach you and let you know, wow, okay. Yeah, I hope the young mothers are learning something. The next question is, when the children are younger, and it's your first time to employ, do you go for a younger house help or do you go for the maturer mother kind of with experience?
You know, I don't know if there is even a manual, Liz. Watu watasema leta ule mzee, huyo hata kusumbua, hata kuthreaten na hapo kwa space ya kwako.
Hapo kwa kuthreaten kuna. There's a friend of mine when she got her firstborn, she came late. 2 consecutive weeks. Alipata msichana pale kwa mlango akamza, "Acha nikuulize, wewe ni mama kweli?" And it's a house girl sasa na.
Alafu unafika tu saa hii usiku.
Unafika saa hii usiku na wewe ni mama.
Imagine. Na ulikuwa umesema unaleta ule mzee ndio hata kuthreaten. It's hard. It's not easy, Liz. it's complicated. So, hakuna manual. Unaleta what fits you as a person, not what fits your neighbor. Because kuna a lot of arguments. Sitaleta hao wasichana wadogo, they'll forever be on phones and headphones and everything. Haya, usilete mzee ataanza kuwakatisha chini, anawaketisha chini together with your husband, anawa advice on issues of life. Si watu uketishwa chini, unaanza kuambiwa by the way, ukiendelea Liz kufanya hivi, huyu mzee atakuacha. Imagine. Utawachwa. You start being given that kind of advice.
So you hired a house help, she ends up being a marriage counselor.
Yes, hata si mama yako, not even your mother can come to tell you such things in your home. But anakaa hivi anaangalia, nimekaa nikaona muongeleshani. Nimekaa nikaona amuongeleshani. Si shida iko wapi? Wewe ukiendelea hivi, huyo mzee atatoroka. So you get so lost in your own home. Na wewe ulikuwa unatafuta ule mzee asikuthreaten.
Now you understand why it's called nani dilemma.
It's a dilemma indeed. It's such a dilemma. You get the younger one, ako mbio. The speed you cannot handle. It's so fast. And unajua hii dilemma ni dilemma kabisa because Liz ina threaten maisha ya kila mtu hapo kwa hiyo nyumba. Everyone is mzee hata ajui ataangalia side gani. It's a confusion. Akijaribu kuangalia atashtukia ameuliza niliona. I had a friend who told me she came from work. This issue of working from home, and that's why I told you wacha waulize kama mzee anafanyia kazi nyumbani. So this guy was working from home. So this lady comes from work. Anapata the young girl they had employed as a nanny. Sasa si mzee anaendelea kuwork kwa laptop, ako kwa meza. Basi curtains ziko kama hapa nyuma. So the girl kamesongesha kiti yenye mzee amekalia, kamekanyaga huku juu, kanavuruta curtains. She's a young girl. So she's closing the curtains. The girl ana ubaya tu. Si anafunga curtains usiku imeingia. So the lady tells me, na mtu amekaa tu hapo anaangalia mtu. That means you are annoyed at the husband for sitting there to allow someone to close curtains? Or who are you annoyed at? Are you annoyed at the girl? Did you tell the girl that when mzee is seated there, wachana na yeye akiona kumekuwa usiku atafunga curtains? Because the girl may be so innocent. Ameona curtains, mbu zinaingia, wacha nifunge. Na ni mfupi. Si atakanyaga kiti.
When you're looking for house helps, what you're simply saying, whether old or young, the shoe wearer knows where the shoe pinches most.
And you tell what you want. You say you communicate without fear or favor. Communicate your expectations.
Make your rules known.
Yes, sema curtains ikikuwa usiku zisifungwe.
The spaces and the boundaries you want kept, please communicate them.
And early in advance.
Don't make them to look like it's obvious.
It's not obvious.
Because these people are also coming from spaces where what you see as normal is not normal.
Yeah.
And what you see as abnormal kwako, to them it is very, very much
just communicate.
Normal.
What do you expect her to do?
Yes.
And what are you going to do? Okay? Mwingine atakuja aone mnapika nini indomie for supper. Aseme hii ni nini unapikia mzee? Ajipeleke jikoni apike ugali. Because mwanaume ni ugali. Right? Na wewe utaanza kusinyika, ameambiwa na nani. So communicate. If you're the one going to be doing the family meals, just say in advance, I will be doing the cooking. Okay? Because mtaanza kusumbuana over small things. Na yeye anaonatoa kwa within their jurisdiction. So you communicate and communicate respectfully. Again, si communicate like you are doubting yourself. Mzee akiingia utoweke kabisa sitting room.
Usikue hapa ukisikia tu
that is a very funny instruction. Kwani mzee anaumana. So the girl will be wondering, this guy
let me tell you why I asked someone that question. They told me, especially the foreigners, the nannies from across, you know how they go on their knees. So you can imagine your husband is coming home and the house girl is on their knees.
Na wewe hujaienda on your knees.
You've never gone on your knees.
Hata bend.
Friend, you'll get a little bit
so unamwambia apote, utaki kuona akinama hapo.
Exactly.
So mwambie tu na mapema, huku kwetu hatuinamii watu.
We have to bring this to a close. But I know you train these nannies and that's why you're on their defense this much. What would you tell a woman from the training place where you're training them? a woman who is coming for the first time to look for a nanny, and sometimes they don't know what they want. Okay, I know you've come across them.
Yes.
They have no idea, but they just want a good nanny. But as we've been talking, you've been able to pick what a good nanny should look like, what your relationship should be like. But you, from having worked with them, what would you advise a young mom who is now frantically looking for a nanny when she comes to your space, as we wind up in 2 minutes?
All right. So, first of all, I'm not on their defense. I've just picked a lot of things. Nimepick. Unaona vile ukiwa train, you realize actually the things I've been judging them for all along the years. Kumbe ni such a big deal for them. And you actually realize they are equally lost. Just the same way you are stressed about getting the right person for your home, do you know they are also always also very concerned about getting the right family for themselves. Even them, it worries them. They also have that desire. See it, we assume they are bad people. Wako bado na hiyo desire. We have a few exceptional cases that are just the same way. Even in the workspace, we have people who are just bad. They will never do the right thing. They are there to frustrate others, so we have such people. But a good number of ladies looking for nanny work or domestic management work are people who actually want. In fact, I've had a lot of them telling me, mi sitaki kutoka kwa nyumba za watu, nikienda kwa ingine ati nimeingia hii this month, next month. Sitaki, mi nataka tu nipate mahali, nitulie tu vizuri, hata mi na watoto wangu nilee, hata mi nataka kusave niende college. They have ambitions, they have aspirations. So I think from the word go as a family, because I think whether we take it up as our responsibility as women, the truth is that this is someone coming to live with the whole family, including the man of the home and the children. So it's very important to decide together as a family what kind of a person you want to come into your space. Okay? You know, as women believe we should decide for our men. That's why unaambiwa usichukue huyo mwenye anakaa hivyo. You understand the way women talk, kuna ule mwenye yani just decide. Pengine pia mzee anaweza kuambia mwenye unamleta, mwambie asipanguze viatu zangu. Viatu nitajipanguzia. Asipige nguo zangu pasi, aangalie mtoto. Mimi niko tu sawa, nitajishughulikia. But we leave them out because we think it is none of their business. The children too. What kind of an auntie, we call them aunties, would you want? Utasikia katoto kadogo hata 2 years, an auntie who does not shout, an auntie who does not have a big voice, like my little girl. Constantly. She's now 10. She used to tell me, Mom, never bring an auntie who shaves their hair. And it was a big deal. There is a day I brought one, that child cried. Alianza kuscream kumwona kwa gate. Yes, so she's an important stakeholder in this whole decision. So nikamuuliza kwa nini? She thinks if you shave, anaona, but she looks like a boy. So ni kama maybe anaona, that's not an auntie. Because she was young then. So you see, she needs to know, you need also to know what the children are looking for. Now I have teens. The needs I had then are not the needs I have now. My teens, my son, who is a teen, tells me, Mom, do not bring young girls here. All the time. He is very constant. Even now that I mostly do with day bags, he will tell me, Mom, not young. Don't. So I understand at teenage, they want someone who is not very intrusive, who is not competing with them. Not someone who behaves like they are coming to compete with them. Not someone they cannot look up to. They need someone they can look up to and respect easily. So you need to also look at your family and the needs of your family at that stage. You need someone just to babysit. Now, for a child who bado haja speech, are you looking for someone who is quiet, amejinyamazia tu, nyumba ataosha vizuri, nguo atafua, apige pasi, aoshe mpaka ukuta, lakini haongei, mtoto wako ataongea siku gani? You understand? So you need to sit down and evaluate the needs of your family. Okay? Once you have evaluated the needs of your family, you're not going out there to pick anyone who is looking for housework because they have nothing else to do. You are very directed. Unajua what you are going for. If you are a mother or a family where the parents travel a lot, meaning your children are most of the time going to be in the hands of the nanny, are you going to look for someone who cannot make decisions for themselves? Someone who has to be told, do this, okay, tomorrow do this. So what happens if a child gets sick and you're away? Can this person make a decision to seek medical attention for your child? So in that case, you're looking for a nanny who is informed, who would know what to look out for if a child is falling sick, and who is quick in decision making. Okay? Yes, so what you're looking for, hakuna manual, but there is what your family needs.
Yes.
If you are a Christian family, who to whom, you know, matters of faith are serious. So are you considering a nanny of a different faith again? You see? So you will not, you know, cause so that hii conflict isianze kama ashafika. Amefika, ameanza kufundisha watoto, because watafundishana hata kama hata waeka watalan. They interact a lot, even maybe more than you. So there are people, you need to be very specific. What do you ascribe to, even religiously, even in matters of faith?
Yeah.
What will work for you? You know, you don't want someone who will start telling your children, even this Christmas you celebrate is a lie. Even Easter, there was no Jesus who died. You know, now we may labor all your life telling them Jesus Christ is Lord, he was born, he died, and he resurrected. Then someone comes to undo all that. So you see why I say we actually don't employ nannies, because that doesn't seem important, yet it is so important. We only say fridge ndio hiyo, microwave ndio hiyo, cooker ndio hiyo, chakula iko pale, takuwa nakupimia ile utapika hiyo asubuhi. Na ukishaenda job, ameanza kuwaambia. Kuna mwingine alikuwa anaambia watoto, mtoto anakuambia shuleni, mimi siendi nyumbani. 3 p.m. mtoto anakataa kwenda nyumbani. Why? Until aliniambia, you know me, I can turn to a ghost and eat you up. Yet you didn't talk about such things. But mtoto analishwa, anafuliwa nguo, anapelekwa shule. So the basics that you talked about, they are handled. But are you aware your child is being tortured emotionally? Until aliniambia, anaweza turn into a ghost na atanimeza. I'm not going home. Na amekataa kwenda nyumbani. So look, the ideals, the values, what are you looking out for? Like, afadhali umtrain kazi Liz, umtrain hata kumop nyumba, kuliko kuanza kualign your values, ideals and beliefs to theirs when they are not together. And that is what we never check. So at Precious Nannies, what we do, we listen to your story. What are you looking out for? Tunasikiza. Wengine wako very specific, hata tribe. Anakuambia sitaki, nataka hii kabila, nataka huyu, nataka hii miaka. Unasikiza. We ask you the ages of your children. If possible, we visit your home and see.
Oh.
Yes, how is this home? Because that way also gives us a picture of what we are going to, the kind of a person will match with you. Because it's like we are matching the nannies with the families. So after that we come, and now, as you are training, you know this person, because we have space to even practice the skills that we are learning. There's a daycare center there, so you can see someone who is good with children. You can see someone who is good with cleaning. So there are people who, they may want to take up childcare because it's what is available, but that's not where their heart is. So if someone has young children, definitely that person is looking for a caregiver for their children. It's good for this nanny to be clean, but the big part is how interested genuinely are they with children. So you try to match that family. And then you also do follow-up. And the follow-up are not just for the boss. You also ask the nanny, how are you settling in your new home? Is everything okay? Is there anything you would want us to raise? If the employer allows you to visit again and check what is happening, you still visit and see, are they okay? And then now you are able to organize even someone to step in if the girl needs to go for off, so that you don't feed your children on junk just because the nanny is gone and there's no one to cook. Yeah.
Wow. I hope to the young mothers you have learned something. But I think the biggest take home is, even as you're looking for someone to help you take care of that child, come from the place of what do you want first, so that you're not just going to pick anything and anyone or accommodate anything. And as she says, there are a few things that you may ignore here. There are spiritual values and all that have got a big effect on your child as the child is growing. But even when the house helps are there, please be the loudest voice in your child's ear. Because what they get to say sometimes may not be what you want to see in your child. So you begin to be very intentionally available and present as much as you can. Because when we understand that we're working in spaces that are demanding of us to be away sometimes, but when you come back, create quality time to be with your child so that constantly they can tell, my parent's voice is louder than whatever else the noise I'm hearing around me. And that way, you will be able to live in harmony. Your child, your house help, and even yourselves within that space, you'll be able to live in harmony. We truly hope that you've learned something. Well, it can never be fixed in a day sometimes. All of us have stories. We've blundered, we've made mistakes, we've tasted the good, the bad, and the ugly, but somehow we've weathered the storm. When it is too much on you as a young mother, please even speak to an older mother. Then you realize you're not unique. Your problem is not unique. We've been there, we've gone through it, and we've weathered the storm. Otherwise, God bless you. See you next time.